This is video 25 on MicroPython and the fourth video on LVGL 9 on a Raspberry Pi Pico. In this video, we review the scale widget in LVGL 9. First, we look at a simple scale and discuss the parts and style. We use the online simulator to help us explain the parts. The second example shows how to align a scale to a bar. The third example presents a round widget. The interesting feature of the scale widget is the ability to easily change all of its parts. So I will show the widget in the examples first in its default black on white, and then again after I change the colors in background. The GitHub site contains the firmware for both the Pico and the PicoW. As this channel covers multiple small system solutions over time, please subscribe to stay informed and click like, as that really helps. The code examples use the following driver files on the Pico. The scale widget is described in the LVGL online documentation with three parts that can have a custom style. If a custom style is not specified for a part, then it defaults to black. Notice that part indicator can be used to specify the style for both the major tick and the style for the text. Let's jump into the code examples. We will open the test scale display and run it in Thony. Let's click the green run icon. And now we have a nice scale widget displayed on our Pico. Let's also run the code in the simulator. When you first start the LVGL MicroPython Simulator, it presents a button widget example. Let's replace this code with the code from our Thony. Okay, we can click restart on the simulator and we get a display that mirrors what we see in our Pico. The nice thing about the simulator is we can make changes quickly. For example, let's change the major tick from every 10 on line 29 to every 5. And just click restart. When you do, you see the scale widget changes accordingly. We could also make changes in the simulator's REPL, just like we could in Thony's REPL. So for example, I can grab line 34, copy and paste it into the REPL, and hit enter. And the change is made in the simulator immediately. If I click the restart button, we return to the code as it's written in the editor. Now let's make changes in the editor, this major line in the scale widget. You can see that LV part main allows us to change the color for the main line in the scale widget. We can change the part items, which is the little minor ticks, and now you can see they've turned red. We can change the major marks. Here I'm going to change them to green. Now you see each one is green. I can change the wording, the text, using the LV part indicator. And I can change the font. Also with the LV part indicator. And finally, I can change the white background to black. Let's make the same changes in Thony. All right, we'll reset our real display. And run Thony. Let's just change this. You can see the simulator looks very similar to what you get on the real display. Okay, let's press reset and load the next example. Our next example shows a bar next to a scale widget that's vertical. Let's put the same code in the simulator. Let's restart the simulator. This code defines a vertical bar widget because it's thinner than its height. To improve the visibility of the bar's default blue background for the video, I increased the background opacity. Finally, I set its value to 25 and I set the indicator of the bar to green. Now I define the scale. It's similar to our last example, only I changed the direction mode to vertical right. And I do not specify a position. The purpose of this example is on line 40. Here we can use the align to function to position the scale 50 pixels to the right of the bar. Alright, let's now make the same color changes. We can change the color for each of the parts so that we can understand the parts better. First, I changed the color of the blue line in the scale widget. Next, I'm going to change each of the minor ticks. Now you can see they're red. Now I'll change the major tick to green. And finally, I'll change the indicator text to brown. And lastly, I'll change the background from white to black. Let's make the same change in Thony. We'll reset the Thony application and rerun the program. Again, you can see that the simulator is very similar to what we find in the real display. Okay, let's press reset and load the next example. And we'll change the code in our simulator as well. This code defines a round inner scale widget and a line widget for the dial. I used similar minor major ticks as the previous two examples. The new feature here is also on line 40. This is where the needle value is set. You can see that I've set the length of the needle to 40 pixels and I positioned it to value 22 on the dial. Now we can change the colors as before. And click the restart button. Let's do the same in Thony. In summary, we reviewed 3 examples using the scale widget: a simple scale, a scale aligned to a bar widget, and a round scale. We discussed the specific parts of the scale widget and style examples. We introduced the bar widget and align widget. The simulator acts and responds very much like my real-world Pico and display. I found I could make a lot of change iterations in the simulator before wanting to make a change in the real-world Thony application. I hope this video helps you with your LVGL MicroPython coding. Thank you for listening.